Okay.
Thank you, Reem. Thank you very much for your introduction, Reem. Good morning, everyone. This is Sultan Azidi, Senior Engineer, Space Project Development, working with the Space Missions Department in UAE Space Agency. We are going to talk about one of the projects, which is called Space Data Center. This project is considered as one of the transformational projects for UAE government. Before talking about this project, which is Space Data Center, let's just all remind ourselves, why do we need space? We are considering space as a gateway to science and scientists in order to derive the future economy. All our space missions is based on certain needs, certain requirements. We are trying to come out with the next level of capabilities for UAE. We are trying to continuous enhancing the growth of the space sector. Most importantly, we are trying to compete globally with the cutting edge innovations. There are different items, there are different elements of the ecosystem. They are upstream, midstream, downstream. With Space Data Center, we are going to focus on the downstream for Earth observations. Once we are talking about the government, since US Space Agency is considered one of the federal entities which is serving under the UAE government, the transformational project is focusing on strengthening the ecosystem. Our ecosystem for the Earth observations downstream, we are trying to come out with a solutions. We are trying to come out with a project to serve and to strengthen the ecosystem. This is why this is considered as one of the transformational projects for a government. Within the Space Data Center, there are 3 key pillars for us. The first one, which is the most important, the deep space missions. Here we are talking about the science data that has been collected by Misbar al-Amal, the Hope probe. The second pillar for us, which is the SAS, Space Analytics and Solutions Program, a dedicated program to come out with certain challenges to unify the expertise and the R&D centers in order on addressing certain challenges under SAS. The last but not least, the Geospatial Analytics platform. It is a tool. It's for us, it's considered as a tool to provide a platform for the scientists, researchers, different stakeholders to facilitate their access to the satellite data. All these pillars under one umbrella, which is called Space Data Center, which is a digital platform that provides scientists, scholars, public and private entities, startups, and community members with access to space data to develop algorithms and solutions for addressing national and global challenges. By saying innovative ecosystem, we are trying to come out in a better utilization of the space data. As you know all, that the data is the fuel of this century. We are trying to utilize this data to come out with the new solutions, with the new patents, within the new services that is going to enhance the efficiency and to enhance the quality of our lives. There are certain objectives that has been approved for this project. The first objective, it is about the innovative analytics platform for satellite data. The second objective, establishing international and national partnerships to exchange data and execute joint projects. Also, we are trying to come out with a public-private partnerships in executing a joint project within the downstream application. We are trying to encourage the SMEs, the startups to work on the Earth observation and downstream applications. There are a number of expected impacts. We are trying to accomplish them throughout this project. We are trying to accelerate the development of the space applications and value-added services, solving national and global challenges through space applications, increase space scientific R&Ds, increase the demand for space services, and most importantly, we are trying to improve the quality of life and benefiting from the space technologies. We rely on the role of our stakeholders. There are a number of stakeholders, they will join us and ensure the success of the project. We rely on the role of the space companies and startups, governmental entities that looking to certain services to be addressed by downstream applications, working closely with the R&D centers. Also, try to give opportunity to the experts to contribute to their technologies and expertise in solving certain challenges. Last but not least, we are trying to work with the universities in order to give a platform for sharing the experience, for capacity building, which is I call it kind of on-job training for our graduate students in order to be able to join the downstream market. As mentioned in my previous slides, there are 3 pillars for this project. One of them, which called Geospatial Analytics Platform. The Geospatial Analytics Platform is a digital platform for Earth observation applications. We are trying to come out with analytics tool. This analytics tool will help us to facilitate accessing to the satellite data. We call it data acquisitions. After acquiring these satellite data, we'll give you services, we call it in-cloud processing. Then the end user, the developer, will be able to access to the analytics report. These analytics reports will be kind of a marketplace that will facilitate accessing to different services and products within which is available for ecosystem or which is available for UAE space economy. As you all know, we believe that the public-private partnership is a key factor in the success of the sustainability of the ecosystem. This project has been kicked off in partnership with Bayanat. The public-private partnership has different benefits. We are relying on certain benefits in order to ensure a better engagement with the private sector. We are trying to come out with a sustainable, competitive economy based on knowledge, expertise, and diversity. Also, we are trying to unify the effort. Unifying the effort because there are certain heritage, certain legacy available in the private sector, as well as there is ambitions, there is big goals has been approved by the government. We are trying to unify the effort in serving these goals and objectives. This project has been signed during December 2022 during Abu Dhabi Space Debate. There are certain requirements, high-level requirements that we are trying to fulfill through this project. The first one, which is developing a digital platform for Earth observation applications to host analytics reports. The second one, which is providing a cloud-based solutions for automatic Earth observation analysis. Here we are talking about the computational capabilities. By the end of the project, we are trying to offer a marketplace that will facilitate and promoting the solutions, the algorithms that has been developed by different startups, developers, companies that will give a credit to these developers for different stakeholders, for different clients. Today, we are in the phase of the proof of concept. We are expecting to finish this phase by April 2023. Then we'll move to the initial operation capabilities. We are targeting to finish the full operation capabilities within the COP28. Within the COP28, we'll be able to present the full solutions. My colleagues from Bayanat are going to show you the demo of the current capabilities that has been accomplished up to date. Also, if you go and visit our website, you will see a pilot project, initial release of the platform. The initial release of the platform, it is based on our experience with the flood analysis that has been that happened during July 2022. We tried to come out with we call it pilot project for the project itself. At that time, we utilized that event as a case to draw our objectives and to draw our and to decide on certain requirements for the Geospatial Analytics platform. The second pillar of the project, which is the Space Data Center. The Space Agency established a dedicated program. This program for downstream applications named Space Analytics and Solutions, SAS. Within this program, we are trying to facilitate in exchanging the expertise with the R&D centers and stakeholders. Within this program, we rely on end-user requirements. End-user requirements for us, we call it end-user design solutions. We are trying to come out with certain challenges, with a certain requirements from the key stakeholders in order to kick off certain projects. Through SaaS, we are trying to create commercially viable applications based on satellite data, promoting space downstream applications and increase demand for value-added services, solving local and international challenges in areas of climate change, food security, and other challenges, stimulating innovations and encourage public-private partnerships. Through SaaS, the startups, developers will have access to the funds from the government. We have a consultancy, this consultancy based on space agency, as well as the expertise that's provided by different stakeholders, by different partners. Also the market access, which is a key factor in the success of whatever business. We are trying to give a marketplace for our startups, developers, in order to facilitate accessing to the market, as well as to have a direct connections with the different clients. There are multiple themes within the SaaS, and these themes is under different areas of interest for downstream applications, starting from environment monitoring, climate change, food security, moving to the air quality, energy, and infrastructure. As we begin with our presentations, space data center is all about space data, and most importantly for us, also the deep space missions. Here I'm talking about the hub probe. We have a dedicated website in order to share the collected data that is helping the scientists in order to have a better understanding about the atmosphere of the Mars. Thank you for your attention. Now we'll move to the second part of the presentations.
Hello, good morning. That would be me. I hope you can see my slides and hear me. So again,
I can't see your slides yet. Engineer Sultan, can you stop share screen? Engineer Sultan.
I'll stop sharing right now. It's yours now, Marcus. Go ahead, please.
Okay, nice. Thank you very much for the kind introduction, and thanks Sultan for this overall introduction to the whole program. I will now focus on the features of the Geospatial Analytics platform and the roadmap for this year. And then the exciting part will start, because Sean will after me show the actual product and show you what we implemented over the last few months. So bear with me for the next 15 minutes. There will be more slides, but then I assure you it will be very exciting, and it will be a live demo, complete with all the risks associated. But first of all, let's talk about this project. So Sultan already highlighted what it is all about. Bayanat is working here in this collaboration, in this public-private partnership, as the implementer of the platform. And we did not start from nothing. The platform is based on our GIQ product. My slides are, they're moving. So that's the high-level vision of the product from our side of the platform. So first of all, as Sultan already pointed out, we will build this over the course of this year, 2023. And we aspire to build a world-class geospatial AI product. Talking about AI, we are leveraging a powerful AI infrastructure, which is necessary nowadays to develop models. And we have a team of expert software developers to develop this. I think it's quite important to point out that the complete team is localized within the UAE. So we are building a project, a platform for the UAE from within the UAE. and it can be deployed both on cloud. We are working, of course, together with G42 Cloud here, or on premise. And the why was already explained pretty well by Sultan. It's about enhancing the downstream ecosystem for satellite analytics. I think there was also some aspect of this slide in the presentation before. Who is it for? This is quite a broad group of people that we are targeting with this project. So first of all, researchers can access the platform to get access to data, but also to publish their results in their models. We want to support data scientists in developing their models. So the platform will have features for annotation creation, and then you can improve your annotations by specific human-in-the-loop mechanisms. We will help with the model development, and we will help with the rollout of these models on the platform. This ties into startups, which are basically the foundation of the new space economy. We want to work with them and support them, making data access easier to them, and also acting as a marketplace, so that we're essentially becoming a marketing channel for them. We will work with government and private institutions and make analytics available to them. And last but not least, we will support universities, so the platform can also be used as an educational tool, you could call it. This slide is complex. I will not go through it and explain all the details. The main takeaway point here is we are building a complex system. This is the overall architecture. We are working on cloud compute, image processing. We have a map server, a complex user interface, a pipeline for AI, and so on and so on. Here again, it's a complex system that we are developing here. And the system is developed based on best practices and open source components. So we are using international standards and all the open source tools which are out there, which are really good, and combining them in a unique way. In the end, all of us will benefit from these open source tools because it will reduce development costs and make it a better product. One central aspect, I believe, of this project is the access to satellite imagery. If you ever try to order satellite imagery, you might be aware that this market is highly fragmented. So each reseller have their own ways to access their data, their own data formats, their own metadata formats, their own pricing models. So if you want an analysis, maybe not only with one or two data sources, this is a real challenge. And with this project, we want to help the UAE space ecosystem to reduce the burden if you want to get access to satellite imagery. So we will work together with a number of satellite imagery providers. On the optical side, there will be Satellogic, Airbus, Maxar, Planet, and Black Sky. We will also support SAR, synthetic aperture radar data, mainly from ISI, Airbus, and others. Yes, and the whole point is we need to make it easier to get access to satellite imagery. So we will be the one-stop for people who want to get access to this data. User documentation is an important part. This is a preview on it. So for each of the different features, there will be integrated documentation, PDF documents that describe the different workflows. This, for example, is a band combination. So you get a multispectral image, and then you can start on its visualization, working on its visualization. Now I'm coming to the objectives and the plan for the next months. So in order to give a little bit of structure to all of these features, we are dividing them into 5 broad groups, starting from visualization. Then there's everything which has to do with analytics, data processing, and AI. There's the aspect of satellite data acquisition. Then there's data management. And number 5, there are also general product requirements. So in the next 4 slides, I will get back to these categories again and again and guide you through the different phases of the projects that Sultan already described earlier. Now you might ask yourself, why 4 slides? Because we will have 3 project phases, because we didn't start from nothing. So before this year, we already started developing this platform. So the starting point for the project is what you're seeing here on the slide. So we already started with standard platform capabilities. We had a user management, basic user management, so you could log into the system. For data management, it was already possible to ingest and store standard raster and vector data formats. It was possible to query the database, and we had support for video files. We did not have any satellite data acquisition yet, but we were getting ready for that by supporting ingestion of GeoT files and ISI data. On the data processing, AI and analytics side, we already came with the capability to manage AI models, and we could do automated model inference. This is quite a cool feature. It essentially says you ingest, so you import a new data set into the system. And if there is a model which is suitable for that image, it will be automatically run in the matter of minutes. You will see the results. And finally, we already started with some visualization functionality. We have this cool global map view where you can see rasters, vectors, and AI results. Sean will show that later on. As Sultan pointed out, we are right now in the POC phase, proof of concept, which will end in April this year. So what we're working right now on is what you're seeing. So one of the features is multi-tenant architecture. That's a technical term. What it's about the different organizations have their separated data storage. So if you are a member of organization A and you log into the system, you will only see the data that belongs to your organization and not the data that belongs to organization B. And we're working on integrated user documentation. I already showed that earlier on. Data management, there's so much going on. I couldn't list it on the slide. Workspaces as a means to structure geodata. You can download satellite data in native formats. We are able to display elevation data in 3D. We have improved search filters, for example, image resolution, and we can store geotech documents. We also started a few weeks ago on satellite data acquisition. And the first focus here will be on archive ordering of ISI data. So you can access the full archive of SAR imagery from ISI via us. You can select what is available and then order it. And we are working on tasking of satellite imagery for multiple data suppliers. AI and analytics. We have now 3 SAR and 2 electro-optical object detection models, land cover model, and some basic SAR processing. And finally, we improved visualization for raster and vector data sets. It's now possible to query attributes by a point, and we are working on basic time series visualization. So here again, that's what's currently ongoing. And after April, we will go into the IOC phase, and there will be more features. In general, there will be improved documentation. And one really interesting part for me is the semi-automated annotation of training data sets. Now, what's that? Nowadays, if you want to develop an AI model, it costs you a lot of time and money to get the annotations that you need. So we want to support this process. You can start with a simple model, make it run, and then you run it on other imagery. So you get a starting point for your annotations, and then we give you the capability to edit and improve these annotations to get more and better labels. I think that's a really important and cool feature of this whole product. Data management, 3D building data will be added, georeference CSV files. On satellite data acquisition, we'll also move forward. There will be more detailed capabilities to order, archive, and tasking data. So we'll support the user in choosing the right data sets for them. On the data processing side, we will extend capabilities for multispectral imagery, and the models that we're already having will be improved, for example, land cover model, as well as the sound processing. And on visualization side, we will improve, there will be a number of features. One of the most prominent ones is possibly that you can work with your raster data, with multispectral imagery, create false color or composites, and apply stretches and such things. Last of the slides, FOC phase will end by the end of this year, the end of this project for the time being. So here will be the marketplace for applications. That's a big thing, was also mentioned by Sultan. So the idea is that you can come to our product, to our platform, and then there will be, you can find for other applications. So developers of applications can basically register with us and we will link to them. And if you are part of the direct ecosystem, we will support things such as single sign-on, so you don't have to sign on to the different platforms. Data management will be continuously improved. Really new features will be in satellite data acquisition. Finally, we will work on integration of open source data, starting with Sentinel-1 and Sentinel-2. More on AI and analytics. There will be time series analysis, automated AI model training. So at this stage, you really can supply the annotations to the product and it will start training the model for you. And we will integrate change detection both for optical as well as symmetry, and more visualization, enhancements essentially to time series and tabular data visualization. That was a lot of slides, right? One finally about the features, and basically I already talked about all of that. I'm adding this again to point out that we are now working on a number of features. So after me, there will be Sean demoing the platform. So there will be some features which are already stable, well developed, and basically no risk for us showing them. But all of these things that we are now developing, especially the data ordering and the multi-level authentication system, are basically hot from the press. So they are coming from our development servers. So these features, let's hope for the best. I'm optimistic that it will go well, but there's a slight risk that we will find a bug while we are doing the presentation. And that's already the end of my presentation. Thank you very much. And as mentioned before, now starts the exciting part, handing over to Sean.
Great, thank you very much. So let me move over to the product itself. And here it is. So this is, I'm already logged into the product at this stage. So as a quick exploration around this is what we call the exploration page. We have the ability to have a look around. Anything with these purple boxes are raster or vector data sets. Anything with the play button shows videos that are in the system. And down here, we got an example where we have documents which have been ingested. Documents tend to get ingested at the 00 point for that long, but you do have the ability to change that location. So yeah, as Mark has mentioned here, this is a live demo of our development platform. So we can show you the richest set of features we currently have. So with that comes the inherent risk that something will go wrong. And within a webinar like this, something does always tend to go wrong. So I'm anticipating an issue there. But let's hope we get through this without finding any problems. So first thing I want to do is let's go ahead and upload some data. So across the top here, we have numerous little tabs. This one is where we upload all of the data into the system. And we have our list of all the data down on the left-hand side here that have already been ingested, as well as some information about any models which may have run. So I'm going to take my data that I've got here. Let's go ahead and select some of these data sets. And it is literally just a case of drag and drop. For the data sets where the system isn't quite sure what the type is right now, it offers you an option. So I know this one is a multispectral file, and I think this one went in as SAR, so let's do that. and then click on upload, and then we see the system starting to upload these. So it'll take a little while to actually get the upload going. So while I do that, let me just quickly close this and open up a new tab and then redo that. There we go. Just so I can go through the other items that we have in the system. So first, next thing I'll do while those data sets are uploading is take you through the model registration page. So this is where each person can upload their own models to the system, and within your own tenant, the users within that system can then go ahead and use any model which is in this active state. You can also configure the model so it does run automatically on imagery which is suitable for the model, or if you wish to conserve GPU resources, or you don't want the model to run every single time, you can configure the model to run manually. So you can implement that and just have a little button click, say, okay, run it on this image. We also give you the ability to configure the model and give different parameters around that, as well as within the mapping area. And I'll show you a bit more. Let's go for the classifier. So anything, the system will automatically detect the labels which are in the model, and then you can map it to a different wording of that particular label, as well as give a different color and category. So here I can go in and select anything I wish and go ahead and change the name, change the color, and where that actual label sits. So now let's move over to our exploration page and kind of go through some of the more familiar items within this platform. So by clicking on one of the images, here I've got a multispectral image. I can click on this to actually visualize it. Let's turn off the footprints. So here I can see that my image has now come in. And over on the right-hand side, this is where I have all the properties of that image. So here I've got the very convenient location of resolution, what kind of who uploaded it, when it was uploaded. So we know that for some data sets, it's not easy to find this for the system to find the acquisition date. So we do give you the easy capability here to change that acquisition date. So this is 2021 and it is December. Oops. Move over to December and 16th of December. And the time is 10:39. Okay, and there we go. Now the correct acquisition date is reflected here, as well as just underneath the image as well. So we have a good representation of the different image acquisition dates. For some files, this is recognizing it automatically, but somewhere the providers aren't fully programmed into the system yet, you may find that this acquisition date hasn't quite been mapped over yet. We also give you the ability to change the band mapping. So here I can do the familiar functionality. So I can change it to a combination I wish, create a false color in this case, and give the ability to move around as well as tilt the image. And this will become much more important in just a moment. Within this, I also have the ability to look at the inference. So I can select different objects. This example here is of road detection, but it's not quite trained well on the satellite imagery just yet. We are focusing more on the slightly more higher resolution. So if I now move over to some of our SAR, let me do a search for oil tanks. So I know there's we've got some examples in here, and I'll just select one of these at random. As you see, as I select my image, it will automatically snap me over to the location where that image is. So I'll now enable that. I can turn off individual labels. So in this case, I'm only looking at the oil tanks, and I can zoom in and take a look at some of the oil tank examples that we currently have. So this model was set with the very high parameters, hence why we got some false negatives located here. But this kind of gives you an idea of where we're going with the automatic annotation tools. So with this, I can go through, say, select this one, and it will snap me to it. And here I can see that it is not been detected quite right. So there'll be a little button that just says reject this annotation. That will go into the database, say that this annotation wasn't correct. And there we have the model feedback mechanisms in order to build a much better model for the future runs. Also very convenient, have been able to download all the detections with a simple button click. And those detections will download as a GeoJSON. With the vector files, let's see how my uploads are going. Great, so my uploads are now complete. So I can select the GeoJSON I've just uploaded. And for this example, I have chosen just downloaded the latest earthquake map for the last 30 days, and I can visualize it here. So all the green dots just show where earthquakes have happened. Obviously not very useful right now until I change the appearance of it. So we're trying to make it as intuitive as we possibly can. So just have the little button down here to change the appearance. So we can select the attribute and let's go with mag type for example, give it a color preset and apply that. I can also change the labeling. So if I want to change, let's say, magnitude, select that there, and let's turn the visibility on first. So that's now applied, and now I can see all the magnitudes for each earthquake which was registered within the USGS system. With this, I can also open my attribute table to investigate all the data within it. And we also have the ability to create a chart for it. So let's say I'm going to create a line chart with my magnitude on one axis. And let's go for length on one. So that produces quite a ugly looking chart. So let's change that over to a bar chart or a scatter chart. So that gives you a bit of an intuitive visualization of all the data within that particular GeoJSON. Again, I can download the resulting chart and open it up as a PNG, and it just downloads straight into your system. So let's now close all this down. Move on to the next one, which is a very quick one. Let me go to the videos, show that we do handle videos as well. So I've got a very good example with this one here. So it snaps me over, and we have a fish classification video. We can see that the georeferencing has been changed by our QA just to make sure that does work. So now if I play through, we go to the inference version, and now I can maximize the screen, play through it, and I can even pause it and select the annotations as well to give a bit more of an understanding of the confidence scores and other metadata will be coming in this at a later stage. Next one I'm going to show is really should go over to the height map. So let's disable all that. I've got a very good example over here in the UAE. So reset my filters. Let's find my footprints. So I have not that one. Where's my data gone? So it is. So here I've got my height map enabled, and I believe this is my data. There we go. So now if I turn off the footprints, I can zoom down and see that, yes, it's exaggerated at the moment, but I can see that the data is overlaid on the height map, create a nice DEM profile. And it is very exaggerated, but I can change that multiplier and bring it down to a bit more realistic. There we go. One new cool feature we've got that we've just implemented is the ability to have workspaces. So this is our thematic area. So let's go into this area. We now have the ability to create a new workspace. We'll give it a name. So let's go just for demo. Click on next, dynamic filters. When a new image comes in and it meets the dynamic filter that's set here, you'll automatically go into your little thematic workspace, and you would have very little interaction needed in order to update your own workspace there. Just for the purposes of this example, I'm going to just include this one image into my static file. And we don't yet have the ability to select models, but that is a feature that is coming. So you'll be able to say, okay, for this particular workspace, I want models A, B, and C, and they will be available in there. So now let's save that. Refresh that screen. And I knew there would be a bug somewhere. Okay, let's take a little step out and go into my other example. This is how the workspace does look. So as you can see across the top here, we have exploration, the ability to annotate. We'll have a couple of other features which will come online soon. But the one thing I really do want to show is this ability to create a story. And this is our intuitive reporting feature that we're building. So in this example, I'm going to go to this particular image. Let's enable that. It's middle of the desert. And I can create a story point here, saying overview, some text. I can then move to a different location. There's a little compound there. And let's do one more. Let's go over here. Let's zoom right out and go and take a look here. So you can see some farmland here. So let's just call this farming. From there, what you can do is just enter the presentation mode, and it takes you straight to this area. I can click on each one of these features, and it will snap me to that location. Again, moving over to the farming area, and it gives you the information below, gives you a lot of the ability for anybody to go in and program this report. If I wanted the farming to go first, well, that's nice and easy. I'll just drag and drop. So a nice little feature coming online. Within the roadmap, this will be developed much further to enhance it and give you much more ability to bring in a lot more multimedia. Next tab I'm going to explore is this data acquisition. And this is the page where we're going to allow users to, let's say, request for data. And we're trying to make it as intuitive as it possibly can. So let's move into Abu Dhabi airport area, and I'll just create my little box over it. Say I want SAR. We will have the ability to also request for optical and other data types that come online eventually. And here I want an eyesight image. So this is going to search now our archive. There we go. So I can just add a couple of ones to the cart, and you see how it all adds up. So these are the 3 images I wish to have. I can give it a quick description, AUH airport. And there's my order now placed. I can now take a look at the different orders, and because I'm logged in as an administrator, I can see every order that's currently in the system. And here's one I did earlier with a rejected order. So I can just quickly open that and see. So order submitted, and it goes through a few different approvals, as well as giving me a reason why that was rejected. But in terms of what the user would see, go in and have a look. And there's the order completed with the order actually mapped across. So here it is, and the image is just below it. I can also see the metadata of that image to have a look, see what is what's been requested, as well as seeing all the different parameters within that. Last thing I want to quickly show. So this is the administration, user management, kind of those generic features that you would expect within a platform such as this, as well as now the ability to create different user roles. So within each tenant, you will have the ability for the tenant owner will have the ability to define different roles for different people. Each individual role can also have a whole host of different permissions, which are completely built by the owner of that tenant. And as was mentioned before in the previous presentation by Marcus, the system also has the ability to host multi-tenancy. So this is just our development area to make sure it all works properly. But this is where we now can create different organizations with different users, different organization players. This allows us to make sure that the data security is as tight as it possibly can be within this system. So that was a very quick canter through the product, trying to leave a bit of room now for questions and answers. So I will now stop sharing my screen and move into the Q&A session.